Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Doctor Who and Autism series. Today I'm joined with Holly and Chelsea, and it's quite funny because it's morning for I think Chelsea, um, afternoon for Holly, and evening for me. So all different parts of the world and time. So thanks guys, it's going to be great to have you both. So let me just start off with, I'll start with you, Holly, because you're next on my screen. Not that I'm picking you first. It's just we blame Zoom. We blame Zoom. Okay, Holly, can you do a little introduction, please?
Hi, I'm Holly Hensley. I'm also Rafe cosplay on TikTok. Uh, Hello.
Yeah. Well,
I would say I cosplay a lot of characters, mostly Doctor Who. If it's a companion from New Who, I cosplay that person and some doctors.
yeah. All very good and fun, aren't they? Like just cosplaying and being a different
Yeah,
character. Um,
it is.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Um, Chelsea, hello.
Hello. Oh, sorry,
Um,
I'm so nervous.
yeah. Uh,
Um,
how are you doing?
Pardon?
Do, would you mind just doing a little introduction?
Yeah. Well, I'm from Canada. Um, I cosplay mainly Catherine Tate's characters. My TikTok is Magica Shadow Queen, I think. Um, I just
Yes.
I just I don't know, adore Catherine Tate. That's all I talk about, think about. I'm like, I can't get it out of my mind. Her out of my mind. Um, I don't know. There's not much to really say. I'm just
Yeah.
a girl from Canada. We'll just
Yeah.
go with that.
Apart from Canada, let's go with that. Okay. um. So I guess as we talk about Catherine Tate, why Chelsea? Why are you that kind of connected to her, like to her character? Like, what makes you like really love her?
Well, I'm just really connected to Donna Noble. I'm not sure when it exactly happened because during a certain period of time, it was really dark for me, and it wasn't until 2014 I was actually introduced to Doctor Who, and eventually I got to Catherine Tate, and because my first companion was Rose Tyler and all of that. But anyways, I just gravitated towards her, but I didn't realize that till 2016. And I guess because Donna has insecurities, I feel that like lots of people feel that um, never not feeling good enough or whatever. But also, she's given me a lot of strength mentally to do things, say things, stand up for myself, I suppose. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, because she is a great character. Like in my opinion, she's one of the best companions, um, possibly in Doctor
Oh
Who.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
It's
Mhm.
like she doesn't put up with Tim's crap.
No,
She
yeah,
calls him out on it a lot. And that's what
she
makes them
does.
such a great duo.
But so I think, but Martha has done some stuff like that too, where she's,
Yeah.
Hmm.
like over the course of her time, she started, like, no, I'm good, kind of, I can, well, I am good. I'm not, I don't know how to describe it.
It's
Yeah,
like she had the strength to leave.
Hmm.
Like she wanted a certain thing out of their connection, out of their traveling, but she had the strength to leave when he wasn't reciprocating, when she knew for a fact that this wasn't going to be reciprocated. This, what I want out of this friendship, this whatever, isn't. It's not like it's not that it's not doing it for me, but she also touches on. She tried to keep everything secret and it hurt her family, so she needed
Hmm.
to get out of there and become her own person.
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. She like I think Martha's actually what in New Who is I think maybe one of the only companions that's actually left on her own accord. Um,
Yeah.
Hmm.
because you don't really get that, do you? Like the companions, they just stay there and wait till like they die or something happens to them or something.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like Rose is trapped in an alternate universe with you know, meta-crisis doctor, but it's still not her doctor, and we don't know how they got along. We don't know if they're still together, or I think that a comic came out, but I don't read comics that often, but we don't know how it turned out, if they even got along, if he even grew, because that wasn't her doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when of course when Stephen Moffat took over and he killed off all the companions. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it
Or unalive.
yeah, like it is something like I think Donna, the way she went in series 4 was kind of worse than death in a way, really, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was, but still, you know, get a little emotional. It's like, no, no, for the love of God, no.
It's like she grew, she became more confident, more sure of herself as a doctor, and then he had to take all that away, and then she kind of regressed. I mean, I wouldn't say she was rude, but she was very aggressive and very unsure of herself. And with the doctor, he brought out the best in her, and then he had to take that away. So it's like,
I know.
no. But
Right.
it also didn't help the parents that she had. But that's a whole different topic.
Yeah, Sylvia Noble. But do you think, because with the 10th Doctor, do you think it was right that he made that choice for Donna to wipe her memories?
He kind of had to.
Yeah, because she was burning up. She was dying, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
All that knowledge. But then,
Like,
who was it? I think it was Ryan, Ginger Doctor Who. I think that's her name. Said, what is it? This. He could have used that.
Yeah, he could have just put all the, like, they could have done the chameleon thing where they put all the memories in the fog watch.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll never know if that would have actually worked or if he still had to wipe her memory.
Yeah, the fog watch is always a mystery, though. Yeah.
But that also does write biology, or I guess.
Yeah, because it rewrites. Yeah, it rewrites his biology, and it's painful because that's what they, you know, they led us to believe on family blood. So
yeah.
Just like the master didn't know who he was until he's opened the fog watch. Oh my God, I'm the master. Oh, I'm evil again. Oh.
Yeah. Like it's very interesting to see what will happen because, of course, Donna's back next year, so it's very interesting to see how that all unravels.
Yeah, like when in the, I guess when they explain the timeline of like when this is, when, or whoever Jodie's going to, I don't know, there's all these rumors out, and I don't really pay attention to those rumors because it's not fact. It's someone saying, hey, here's this rumor, I'm going to spread it around the internet, and it's going to make all these pages, and it also always turns out to be incredibly wrong. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, well,
but
we have to wait and see. Because like you say, there's all these rumors, like before Shooty Gatwa got announced as the Doctor, like he was not in it, even in the I think like the odds, you know, like where like before a Doctor is announced, you have all these different doctors, like actors up there, and then that's what I love about Doctor Who. Like you just never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, like when there was a rumor going around that Hugh Grant was going to be the 14th Doctor. I like Hugh Grant, but I'm just like, Hugh Grant, 14th Doctor? And then when they confront him about his, he's just like, where is these rumors coming from? What? No.
I never pay attention to like the rumors or anything. That I don't know what's going on. Actually, when I first found out about Catherine Tate returning, I was in the car with Mom actually, no, what happened was I was having a really rough day, but Ryan, she sent me a message. I ignored it. Somebody else messaged me something, and then Michael, he sent me something, and then finally I opened it up. I'm in the car, and then all of a sudden, Catherine Tate has returned. I was like, Mom, Mom.
Yeah.
I was all excited.
So excited.
How come I didn't open up this sooner? Like, I was jumping up and down when I got home. Like, my heart started racing. I was all happy. I mean, I'm still happy. But just her coming to mind makes me smile.
Yeah.
It's like we both cosplay Donna. We both know what she's all
I know,
about.
and I love watching you.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I love how you perceive her or play.
Yeah.
I'm watching you. Yeah, it's like I love watching your Donna and all the characters that Catherine Tate makes, and she makes them her own, and she's just fantastic, whether it's Nan or Lauren or any of all the millions of other characters that she does.
Yeah, because like I watch both of you, so I see your Donnas and I think they're great. Because of course I don't cosplay Donna, but I could.
I could borrow one of my millions of red wigs that I have to try and find the perfect Donna wig.
It's the passion. It's the passion you put into the character. You care about it.
Yeah, because what the character that I cosplay a lot is 10th Doctor. I do the 10th Doctor a lot, and I especially do it more when you see him kind of like in my mind, like before David Tennant was announced to come back for the 60th. I was thinking I'm gonna do something else, like maybe go back to like 11th Doctor or do something different. But and then it's like you want to do more of the Doctor that you're used to, or the characters that you're used to, because they have been announced and coming back, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that we know for sure they're coming back. Unlike, hey, there's this rumor that 11's coming back, and it's just like, until it's actually announced, I'm not gonna get my hopes up.
No.
As much as I would love for 11 to be back, they also have to bring back Amy and Rory because they're a set. They're the Ponds and 11 and River and
yeah. Yeah, it like I would love Matt Smith to be back, but I know he's a very busy man now. He's doing all these different things.
Yeah, they're like, oh, rumor 11's coming back. I'm like, I don't see how. He's got a grocery list ton of stuff to do. When would he have time to film anything? Same with Karen Gillan. She's busy. Arthur Darvin's gonna be a Dragon God.
Oh, that's good.
Oh yeah, that should be fun. Yeah, like you've got all these people, like but I do think for like the Jodie's last episode and the 60th is the right time to be bringing back, if they can, Doctor Who, all these companions maybe from early 2000s or even older if they wanted to, if that worked. Because I think it's the right time in the show for the 60th, and then once Shooty gets his series going, you kind of go on and you have more memorable companions that he can have for his own.
It'd be cool if all the companions were in one place and they can sit there and like, compare notes and stuff, kind of like when Sarah Jane and Rose were together, and it was fantastic to see old companions and old Who companions, new Who companions together, the ones that they didn't unalive or that are still on this earth. And it's so cool just to see them just all come together and see how they react.
Yeah, I would love it if they had different like interactions with companions like from different eras. So you had one maybe for the 10th Doctor, or just saying that the 11th Doctor may come back. Like you could have maybe Amy or Donna having a conversation or something.
Yeah, like the two gingers, or seeing how the different companions react, or how they get along with the previous incarnations. I mean, it's still the Doctor, but it's a Doctor with a completely different personality and a completely different history, and it's just so cool. Like seeing the Doctors with Clara. I never really liked her much with 11, but I loved her with 12. How'd she react to 10 or 9 or any of the previous Doctors? See how their interaction would be.
Yeah, because she like in the 50s that she got on really well with like the 10th Doctor. Clara did, so they had a good like interaction. But the funny thing is, if the 10th Doctor did see the 11th Doctor, that they wouldn't remember because it was all forgotten in the 50th. So it would be interesting, like how they are if they are together again.
Yeah, like 11 said, he's like, this is out of our time. This is out of sequence. We can't retain the memory. So it just like River has met all the previous Doctors, but it wasn't until 10 that he's just like, I don't know who you are. That's probably the same thing. If it's all out of sequence for them, they can't retain the memory of her, or maybe they explain in the audios. I don't know. I haven't listened to any audios, but she even explains, I have pictures of all your faces. You just don't show up in the right order. I need a spotter's guide. So it's all timey-wimey weird stuff of how they don't retain the memory, but she does.
Yeah, it is like I think you need more companions like Donna, like because Donna was like she helped the Doctor like a lot, and like it's a shame because like with the era of Tennant, I like that because they mixed the companions really well. They did, didn't they?
Yeah. And they all got along seemingly when they were all together in mass. Even in that one episode, they all worked well. They did all this stuff together, and
because it was nice to see Martha and Donna get along, and then of course in turn left to see Rose with Donna, even though Rose had to basically have to take care of Donna without letting her know what was going to happen. I guess I'm not sure how to explain it. It's just she was caring for Donna, but she was in a difficult situation as well, if that makes any sense.
Rose had grown a lot from the second season or the second series, because series 2, she was just jealous of every woman that came in contact with 10. But she grew up being in the alternate universe, and then everything was fine. And just watching Martha and Donna play off each other, and then just first they were like kind of tense, and then they started talking more, ragging on the 10th Doctor.
I was. I wish you were fighting.
I liked it better if you two were fighting. It's like, no, you weren't. This isn't Rose and Sarah Jane.
Even Rose was jealous of Sarah Jane as well. So it's good. It's good that she like when Journey Dean comes along and all that kind of stuff. She evolved a lot of character involved. So that was good.
And then again, she was also a little bit older too. Like we forget, Rose was only 19 when she met the Doctor. And she was still maybe 19 on the cusp of 20 when she got stuck in the alternate universe. So, at least we don't know I guess the time progressed through Martha and Donna. So what, a couple of years went by? So she was like 21, 22 when she met up with the Doctor again. So she got to grow up.
She did look a lot different then, like to when she was with David Tennant straight away. But like it was it was like really well done, like the episodes, and My favorite episode is like the girl on the fireplace, because I really like that kind of story. It's really good.
You guys are
Madame de
strange.
Pompadour's costuming. I want to do her costuming. I want to be her just for cons, but it's gonna be so hot because they wear so much crap underneath that dress. I'm just like, oh. But the music to that episode is more memorable than the episode itself. I hear that music and I'm like, I know where that is in the show. Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah. Like, I don't see anyone like kind of cosplay. Like, I've never seen anyone like cosplay like Madame de Pompadour. So it'd be nice to see that, but it's very hard. Like, even getting a costume or trying to get something maybe that looks like it. It's very hard.
It's very hot. The costume doesn't breathe very well. Plus, you've got the pantaloons, and then you've got the petticoat over that, and then you've got the pannier, the thing that holds the dress up, and then you've got the actual dress, which is made of kind of lightweightish fabric or whatever, but it's even more layers on top of that, plus the wig. Oh, it's too hot. Does it get cold enough here for me to wear that?
Yeah, it is. It's very hot. When you do cosplay, really, isn't it? Like, you have to like, what I do when I do it, I do like a load in one go, so I don't have to do it all the time. Because it's very time consuming, isn't it?
Yeah. So when you go to cons and like Dragon Con, I had like this whole lineup I was gonna do, and then I've had to switch some stuff out because it's still the summertime. It's in the South. It's in Georgia. It's gonna be hot. So trying to find the characters with the least amount of layers, because I realize it gets cold in the UK, especially when they're filming for Doctor Who. But it's not cold down here. It's hot. And every character has a lot of layers.
Yeah, it is different. Like, do you guys find it easy or hard to access when it's on, like, to watch Doctor Who?
I don't know.
What was the question?
Your face. I got distracted by your face. I got distracted by your face as I'm trying to think.
I forgot. No, I didn't really figure. I said, do you guys find it hard or easy to watch Doctor Who, like, where you are?
It's easier now than it was a decade ago. Like I started watching, well, the first episode I ever saw was Series 6, Episode 2, and first run, and I didn't know anything about Doctor Who at that time, but I was really intrigued. But trying to find it again was hard unless you had cable. It didn't come on in any other channel other than the BBC. So, but now with all these streaming services, I could, go back and rewatch stuff on HBO Max, or I can get a subscription to AMC Plus and watch it there, or I can buy the series off of Amazon Prime. So it's a lot easier to get access to it now to watch it.
Yeah.
5 years ago.
For me, when I was introduced to Doctor Who, apparently it was on Netflix. I didn't know that. I
didn't know it either.
I was just watching it because my old boyfriend was the one who introduced me to it, and he was watching. He put it on. I didn't know it was on Netflix, and he said, "Oh, the newer episodes are not on Netflix. We have to go find it somewhere else." I'm like, "Oh, it's on Netflix? Oh, okay." But anyways, wait, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, it is easier to watch. It is easier to watch now because I have Crave TV, or I have to I only resubscribe to Crave TV when the new episodes come out. I still have to get the other DVDs or Blu-rays of the ones with Jodie, but yeah, it's easier for me to watch now.
Yeah, I didn't have to try and pirate it or
Yeah.
steal it off of someone's.
Well, actually, my
Not that I
aunt
did that.
my aunt told me that when they were rebooting Doctor Who, she found out, back in 2004, 2005 when it was, and I was thinking, what was I doing in 2004, 2005? And oh wait, I don't watch television, or I stuck to Disney Channel. I never ventured out, so I wouldn't have
What
known.
was I doing?
I wish I knew so I could use it for high school, because I use Doctor Who for so many different things in my life now. I was like, I
Yeah.
wish I knew about that in high school.
2004, 2005, I was moving and living in various places before settling somewhere. So, or it's about the time that Supernatural came out, and I didn't know that show was a thing until 4 years later. So that was
Yeah.
2005 is a lost year for me. I don't remember what I was doing.
That's funny, because you guys watched it a bit later, like Doctor Who. I watched it. I blame my brother. Could he tell me about it? But when the revival was there, I was about 4 or 5. Because I was born in 2001, so I was only little. And I watched it, and I regretted it because later on, because like I say the Girl on the Fireplace was my favorite episode, but back then it wasn't. It was the most scariest episode for me. Like every night going to bed, looking underneath the bed, seeing if the clockwork monster's there. It was the same for Turn Left. When Donna had the scorpion on her back, and when I was watching that, I was saying, I always look around to my back, seeing that the scorpion's on it. So that's quite funny.
Yeah, like I think I'm the oldest one here, most likely. So, classic Who was the thing that was on the television when I was a kid, but the only thing it came on was PBS. But I didn't know about it then because my parents weren't Whovians. So if Doctor Who was on the TV guide, back in the day, we had this thing called the TV guide.
I know, I
If
had
it wasn't
it
the
too.
TV,
Because
if it wasn't the TV guide, I would have no idea what it was. I would just think it was some stupid grown-up show on PBS because I was a child.
For viewers like you, that's what we had.
For viewers like me, I didn't know anything about it. So when I did see that one episode in 2011, I'm just like, Doctor Who, what in the world is that? And it wasn't until Capaldi's era when I started watching it full time. And I'm like, you know what? I need to go back to it again to see what this is all about because I still don't understand what's going on. So, and then when I went back, start with 9, I was immediately hooked. So.
Yeah, because my ex-boyfriend said, do you want to start with the newer Doctor, which was Peter Capaldi? And I thought, the newer, shouldn't I start from the beginning? Because that's what I should do. And then I watched Rose, and I was like, what is this? I am really hooked, but I don't understand why, because they're a bunch of window shop dummy kind of
Yeah,
things.
it's just like they're the autons, and I'm like, of course it starts with mannequins. I hate mannequins. I'm like, why?
Yeah,
But I don't remember anything from 2014 to 2017, really. I just knew eventually around 2016, I started realizing that I've been watching it since 2014, but everything else is basically a blank. Before that, I just knew I fell in love with the program. That's about it.
Yeah. Like Holly, you mentioned about Supernatural. I'm actually watching it now because
Nice.
I didn't watch it. I didn't know about it. Because of course that's American kind of show,
Yeah.
and Doctor Who's UK, so it makes sense that you guys are later in Doctor Who and I'm later in Supernatural. So it kind of makes a lot of sense. But yeah, Supernatural, I'm enjoying it. So it's good, like that kind of stuff. So what do you think? Like, do you have like a favorite Doctor at all, or do you just like them all?
11.
11?
I didn't think, like, when, first watching everything, I'm like, oh no, it's gonna take place at 10, and then 11 came out, and with Amy and Rory and more River, and he's my doctor. He got me through a lot of dark times. Not that I'm saying I like the other doctors, but when it comes to, the one that brought me out of a funk or had, the best speeches, or I mean, Capaldi had a lot of zingers too, but 11 is my doctor. Always will be. I mean, I love 10, but no.
Yeah.
11 does it for me.
Well, yeah, 10 is my doctor. Christopher Eccleston's my first doctor, but 10 is my doctor. And I do enjoy all the doctors. Like, there's certain things with each doctor that will stay with me that I use for life. They're like my little guide thing, but 10 will always be there. It's just, if I need the other doctors for some reason, I will be, okay, I need the 11th or 12th for a certain situation, but 10 will always be my doctor. Actually, it was really funny. This is sort of going to go to Harry Potter quickly. With David Tennant, I was just, I was very terrified of him. Just in the Goblet of Fire, I couldn't even watch the Goblet of Fire just because of him. And then eventually, when I started watching Doctor Who, and then it went to 10, I go, oh my gosh, that's Barty Crouch Jr. And then I just fell in love with him. And then I'm like, okay, it's not so scary now.
Yeah, like I saw Goblet of Fire first before I started watching Doctor Who. So when he came on, I was like, "It's Barty Crouch Jr." And then when the episode comes on with Barty Crouch Senior, and I'm like, "Oh my God, it's a reunion!" I'm like, "Wait, this has already taken place, but in the past." But still, it's just like, it's so cool seeing all these characters that were on Harry Potter first before they came on Doctor Who, or vice versa, and I'm just like, oh my God, it's Mad Eye Moody! Ah!
Oh, this reminds me of something. Okay, Doctor Who has been in my life before I even heard about Doctor Who. On YouTube, I heard Doomsday in a video, just a playing video, a fandom video that wasn't even related to Doctor Who, and I just heard Doomsday, and I fell in love with that tune. Then in 2011, I was watching the Craig Ferguson talk show thingy. I know Craig Ferguson, he's a Scottish comedian or whatever. And anyways, I was watching, and I'm still trying to find this clip so I can use it for TikTok. And it goes, you know how I'm cool? There's a TARDIS on my desk, and I never had a mobile device where I could Google all of that sort of stuff. I'm like, what the heck is a TARDIS? And then in 2014, I hear Doomsday, and but I had to do it really calmly. I first heard Doomsday in 2009. So all these little things led up to me going, oh, Doctor Who has been in my life, but certain things, like kind of like hidden little things here and there. And then I realized, oh, that's where that's from.
Yeah, that's how I left hearing little clips and then actually seeing the episode. I'm like, that clip has been my gift for like ever on Facebook. Now I know what it's from.
Yeah. It's like now when you see an actor from Doctor Who and you see him in another show, you kind of picture them in Doctor Who in that other show. And it's like the same you were saying about when David was in Harry Potter. You're going to picture him as that character in Doctor Who if you've seen that before watching him as the Doctor.
Yeah.
Because you had the one who played he was the guy who played Lazarus, and he also is in the 12th Doctor last episode. He was in Harry Potter as well.
Really?
Yeah, I believe he was.
Yeah.
He might have been a professional.
I totally believe you. Yeah, it's It's been forever since I've seen the movies. I read the books first. Like when Sorcerer's Stone came out, the third book had already been out at the time, and I hadn't read any of the books because I thought they were just kids' books. And then of course when the first movie came out, I was just like, oh, that's so cool. So got all the books, and I probably would have enjoyed the movies a lot better had I not read the books first, because it kind of ruins it for me if I've read the books and then I see a movie and then I go, but they should have put this in here, but they don't really explain this. But what's going on?
Mhm.
It's like watching Outlander. I haven't read any of the books because I don't want to like spoil anything. So whenever the series ends, then I can go back and read the books and not have anything spoiled.
Have you got the Melody Malone book from like the Amy and Rory's last episode?
I do not have that book, but I have her newest book that Alex Kingston has written as the persona of River Song. So I haven't read it yet, but no, yeah, I have those books on my wish list on Amazon.
Yeah, like when the thing about reading for me is like it's at school as well. Like Chelsea was saying earlier about like Doctor Who and like with school and stuff. Like I cannot like concentrate like reading. I have to like watch it. Because I just lose concentration, and like if you get asked in a class to read it, I'll be like, where am I? And then you get your sheet. And what I would be doing while I would be reading, I would be thinking of something like maybe I'm doing something later in the day, or I'm doing something tomorrow. And then during that, of course, you get your questions at the end to what's in the book that you're reading. So you might be chapter one, find out who, what is, and what I would do, because I'm not concentrating, I'll go back in where it says on the question, it says one part up to another part. I'll quickly try and find a word that's in the question, and I'll try and kind of copy it, because that's concentration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember when they made us read aloud, and that terrified the crap out of me. So I'd count, okay, so we're supposed to read, a paragraph out loud, and I'd count how many people in front of me and be like, okay, I'm supposed to read this paragraph. So I wouldn't listen to what they were saying and just, read the paragraph in my mind over and over again. And so when it came to me, even though I'd be going, so I wouldn't lose my place, because if I don't do that, I'll skip a sentence. And I'm like, wait, this is not going to make any sense. So then I could read it out loud and still be nervous as crap because this social anxiety and stuff.
Yeah.
But I could still just go read it and stuff. Or it's like going to a restaurant where I know what I want, but I have to read it first, keep reading it. So when the lady asks, man or woman or person, when the wait staff asks me what I want, I'm still reading it even though I know exactly what I want, because it's the social anxiety part
Yeah.
of stuff, or things that I couldn't do, and come to find out that's not normal. You just had social anxiety since you were a single digit age, but that wasn't a thing that was talked about in the 80s. They just ADD or ADHD or autism or any of that stuff, why a lot of us Gen X kids don't get diagnosed until much later in life, because that wasn't brought up. That wasn't a thing. You just had time management skills that were crap, or you had you were loud and disruptive, or you couldn't pay attention to what you were doing. They just thought, oh, you're just being a kid.
Yeah.
When there was actually stuff that you needed to be diagnosed with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when I went to 3 different elementary schools, and the first 2, even though some of them knew that I had a learning disability, it wasn't really talked about. And my mom would tell the teachers that she can't do 25 questions. She needs to try to do at least first 5 or 10, because she's not going to get it. And they would have constant kind of like disagreements and all of that. It wasn't until I got to the 3rd elementary And they went, yeah, she needs to have extra support, extra help. I don't know why they didn't do this in that school district system. And then finally it was sort of got the actual help. And then that helped me when I got to high school. So from grade 8 to grade 12, I was put in this particular classroom with all the different learning disabilities that the kids had. But we also had that thing where they had teachers come with us to the classroom. Some of the teachers I did not want to go with because they were kind of mean. And you know, they made you feel more insecure. And then it was sort of like, okay, I'm not gonna go to school today because of this one helper. I would rather just get the homework.
Yeah. Like I didn't really get any special help. I just, got a D in math, or they didn't really give us any extra attention. There wasn't any special classes until after I graduated, when they go, oh, maybe these people have learning disabilities. Maybe they're dyslexic. Maybe they have this thing that they can't process something correctly. But instead, it'll show, wow, you really suck at reading comprehension, or wow, you're really bad at math, or you're bad at this kind of math, but you're really good at this kind of math. Or
Yeah.
It's not until well into adulthood that it's just like, oh, wait, you have this learning disability and this is why you're this way, or you have this social anxiety. Like when people think of social anxiety, they think of the stereotypical nerds that have problems talking to girls. And I'm just like, that's dumb. Social anxiety can also come to where I couldn't get up and turn my test in until someone else got up and did it first. Or I couldn't go throw something away until someone else got up and threw something away first. I didn't know that was social anxiety. I thought I was just, that's just normal behavior. And it comes to find out it's not. You have social anxiety, but it's not the stereotypical social anxiety that people that don't understand this stuff put on and say, well, this is this. I'm like, no, it's not. It's other different forms.
Yeah, like it's really hard because like it's really hard to explain to kind of teachers if they don't know what you're talking about. Because I agree with exactly what you're saying, because like I would struggle, like I would struggle to ask for help. And if for example, if we're doing maybe maths or something in the class, and everyone knew what they were doing, and maybe I was the only one who didn't, and well, I didn't really know what to do, and I was on the sheet just guessing everything, and then a teacher maybe come across and say, like, "Are you doing all right?" And I would say, I said, "Yeah," because I know if I was going to say I needed the help, they would say, "Can you try and do it yourself?" Because they wouldn't really help, because they say, "Can you try and do it yourself?"
And then
or you get to go to detention because you're failing math, but instead of coming in and like seeing what you're having issues with, is just like, no, you're just this big failure. You have to go to lunch detention, or you have to stay after school and go to detention. But there was no one there to actually go, hey, here you go.
Yeah. When you said guessing, it just brought something into my mind. When I was doing maths or anything, but mainly math, it was, how Clara does that thing where she would remember, like when she did trivia questions, she would just remember the answers. That's what I did. I wouldn't know how to do long division or anything like that. I would just guess the answer and I would get it right. But then when I had to do the work and write it out, that's when I had trouble. But I knew how to get the answer just by memorizing things.
Yeah, it is very like it's good that you kind of link that with Clara as well.
Yeah, I know. Like certain things, I go, oh my gosh, I do this. Oh my God. Like certain things, I think, oh wow, I do that.
Yeah, all these stupid formulas they had to make us remember. How many times have I used those formulas in real life? 0. I haven't had to use any of these stupid formulas I had to learn in physics.
Yeah, like you have what is A add B add C, what does that equal to, or something like that. And like I think the only kind of job that you would do that in is possibly science or something, but
Something in your
yeah,
job field.
yeah,
I,
something in
I
your job
went
field.
into costume design and scene design, and they're making you had to take these core classes in college, like physics or biology or botany, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna have to use any of this crap in my real life job. I mean, I didn't go into the degree I got. That's that I used towards my my expensive hobbies. I went into something else as a career, but it's just like, uh, where in the real world am I going to need this? And like, and now there's calculators on my phone. I don't have to memorize this stupid stuff anymore. I don't even have a calculator in real life.
Yeah,
It's on my phone now.
yes, and like they don't let you if you have a phone, like in an exam. They say you can't have it because you have the internet. So they have to give you an actual calculator with all the different buttons. So you can't take your phone
Yeah,
in.
the scientific calculators where I only use like maybe 2 buttons.
Yes, it's pretty crazy. I remember like it's called primary school, like the first years of like your school life.
Yeah.
And I was in a class with a teacher that my brother had too, and my brother is like maybe 10 years older than me, or like just below 10, maybe 8 years older than me. And it's quite funny because we had the same teacher, like, and the teacher wasn't the friendliest of teachers because you know when you do like you get asked to do a set of times tables, like you practice them and then you practice it with the teacher, uh, and then once I got asked a question, and then like Robert's social anxiety as well because I didn't know the answer, and then the teacher kind of pressurizes you to try and see if you know it, and they said like because the teacher thinks I'm lying about what I'm saying, and that's not the case. It's just I don't know what to do, and then luckily I guessed the right answer, and then everything was cool. But like I think teachers do have to be careful, or like you know, like in schools, like how they come across to people because it can be really like pressurizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they make you get up in class and do the formula or the whatever on the blackboard, and if you're not really sure what you're doing, then that also, your peers are also in the same class and they're judging you, and school is terrible for bullies and singling you out, singling, sure, that's a word,
Yeah,
singling out
yeah,
for not knowing the answer or not being as smart as somebody else, and it just kind of makes your school life miserable because everybody in your class now knows you're crap at math, and school hasn't changed at all, except now there's cyberbullying on top of everything, and people have phones to which they can
Yeah.
now let out all the information that you crap at whatever, and the bullying's atrocious, even more so than it was, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago. I'm pretty sure there's bullying in school like 200 years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like with bullying, it's very difficult because when you are bullied, um it's very hard to kind of tell a teacher because to say they believe you, um like what you're saying is that they go to the bully and tell the bully off for what you're saying, and then the
And it makes
bully,
it 10 times worse.
yeah, it makes it 10 times worse. Like the bully comes back to you saying, "Why you done that? I'm going to do this to you now," and it doesn't really help. So it's really difficult when you are getting bullied in that position, um, because like as much as you want to tell a teacher to help, like, you think to yourself, that could make the situation worse, or just wait it out. But it's really difficult.
Yeah. And yeah, it really bogs down on everything. I'm a former bullied kid, so just I not only did I not tell my teachers, I didn't tell my parents. I didn't really tell my friends. I just took it,
Yeah,
and it does a number on you,
mentally,
on
physically.
mentally and physically, and it doesn't go away after high school.
No, it doesn't.
Like the bullying might stop, but the damage that it did to you
Yeah.
is there, and I still struggle. I mean, high school is a long time ago for me,
Mhm.
but I
But it's
still
still there.
struggle with
It's there.
still there. And well, would you ever confront your bullies? I'm like, no, now that I'm in the mental capacity I'm now, I'd probably punch him in the face. But I could confront him, but why?
Well, here's
I'm in my
I have something to say. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Holly.
no, you're fine. No, no.
Oh, okay. 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 2014, once again, it was very dark for me. And I had this one teacher, she was a special education teacher. The entire teachers in that class that I was made for that. And she was always a bullied type of teacher to the kids. And it wasn't until I graduated school in 2011, but because I was in a special needs class, and I could stay a second year. And then anyways, in 2014, I ran into that teacher, and she said something to me that was very painful. I will say I still struggle with an eating disorder. She did say to me, "Are you still on that starvation diet?" And that stays with me from that. And
Okay, I'll punch her in the face.
I still cry about it. But I had Doctor Who at that time, and I had 9, 10, 11, and 12. I had Rose all the way up to Clara, but it was Rose and Donna that really pulled me through. And I went to the teacher, to the classroom, and I said, sorry, I'm shaking. I said, because I ran into her in the streets, and we also had this thing called community. And I went to the classroom, and none of the teachers that were there stopped me. They let the quiet kid, the shy, quiet kid who cried all the time, saying, "Get this thing out of her system." And I said, "You can roll your eyes all you want, but you should have never said all of those things. You know I struggle with mental health. You know I struggle with depression, anxiety, eating disorder, all of that." My mom was there, and everybody was like, "Holy crap," basically. I didn't mean to swear, sorry. But to this day, I still do cry about it, but I had Doctor Who. That's why Doctor Who is so important to me. I realized just a couple of days ago that, oh my gosh, I use Doctor Who for mental health, more so series 4 and Donna Noble. That's what she is. She's based on mental health. Each companion, I think, is based on mental health, but for different things. But I know it's directly Donna Noble. But it was Doctor Who that gave me the courage to stand up to the teacher, but as well as Harry Potter. So the whole, soon we must face between what is easy and what is right. I'm sorry, my heart's going. It's just, I don't share this very often, but I am so proud of myself that I stood up to a teacher, never mind my own peers, a teacher. And because back in high school, I didn't think I had the authority. No kid thinks they have the authority over a teacher. But
especially to call them out on their crap.
Yeah, and then I did it. I mean, I was crying, I was shaking, and then all that teacher, she was laughing, rolling her eyes, but all the other teachers were like that, basically.
Yeah.
And
yes. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I didn't mean to upset you, Holly. I can tell. I know.
I don't want to interrupt you. it's a terrible habit. I'm like, I have something to say, and if I don't say it, I'm gonna forget it. And then I'm just like, I'm like, no.
It does it to me all the time. Go ahead, I'm finished.
It's one thing to be bullied by your peers, because unfortunately it's a fact of life. It's, you're gonna get bullied by kids that understand, or they come from a crappy home life and they gotta make your home life
Or
crap.
they just have a rotten heart.
But when teachers do it, and it's just like, what is the matter with you? You're supposed to be shaping their minds. You're supposed to be teaching them things, not making them feel like crap.
Mm-hmm.
I
didn't mean to upset you, Holly. I
understand.
want to give you a big hug. I can tell. I can tell.
Hug over Zoom. Chelsea, thanks for like sharing that, because it's like it's really important, because like it's really hard to share when you have your own experience. Because I imagine how hard it is to get bullied, like and by a teacher as well. And like you say, like you don't think that you have that like power,
Authority,
yeah,
power,
the
all
power,
of that.
like
Because
over,
Doctor Who,
yeah.
Doctor Who gave me that power, and I will always be thankful for Catherine Tate, David Tennant, Billy Piper, more so Catherine Tate out of all, but all of them. That's what that program gave me. No, they will never know, but that's okay. Because in my heart, I know.
Yeah, and it's great that that helped you, because like everyone's a human being, if they're a teacher or not. Like like I wish when I was at school, certain situations where teachers were talking to me like a load of rubbish, and because I wasn't very confident when I was younger, and like now I am, of course, because I'm speaking to you.
I am not confident. I fake my confidence.
It's like I'm confident now because I had to grow up and like be able to figure myself out. But then I was just, if you like, I knew the library like the back of my hand because I spent all my time in there. Or I'd be the kid at the top of the stairs reading a book, and I was super shy, except when I was around my friends. Then a whole different personality came forth with the mouth of a sailor, and just I was a completely different person around them. But when I was in school, I was a lot shyer and I didn't speak out. And when I got bullied, I took it. I didn't say anything. But had I have the personality that I have now, I would have told George Crawford to shut up. And I'm like, oh, are you not getting enough love at home to come to school and make my life miserable? I would have loved to have said that because I told him off in a dream. But
we all have that, because I still do that.
Yeah.
What happened to me in the past, I still talk to the imaginary family members who, disown me. I go through all of that every single day, and then I gotta have the Doctor Who, Harry Potter, but mainly Doctor Who try to help me. And then there was
just watching the companions grow. Like the companions were different people, and then they met the Doctor, and they grew, they evolved, they became better versions of themselves, and or they found families, or they found a sense of belonging. And going back to the real world was super weird. So, or whether they were forced to go back to the real world or they went on their own, it's still disorienting because they've been traveling. We just see the episodes that they traveled, but they could have been going to other planets, seeing other things. Could have been years, months, whatever, but we just see, just certain episodes of when they're, stranger danger.
Yeah, and like it's like Doctor Who power, isn't it? Like the power it has over us, and relating into everyday life, and it's not like it's just a show anymore. It's just like it's real. It's like it's a real thing happening. But a little bit what happened to me was I went to like a mainstream school, and then I went to more of a school that is suited with people that have autism like me, and different like needs as well, not just autism. And one thing that at the school that was really pressurizing is that like the uniform and like with like having to wear a tie. Like back then I really struggled to it's a clip-on one, but it's really hard to put on and stuff. And what I used to do at the end of the day, I would because it's almost like there's a guard at the gate, but it's a teacher like at the gate. And if I'm out running, like and it says can you stop running? And in my mind, I didn't say anything back then. I was thinking, I'm out of school now. I can run if I can run if I want. And he said, and it weren't just this teacher; it was numerous. And I said, could you help me put my tie on? And one of the teachers says, I'm not allowed. And if they're not allowed, I kind of think, like, how are you kind of here? Because I thought that's the whole point of a teacher, to help people.
Yeah.
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 No, it's like the teacher's supposed to help. There was one particular teacher, my economics teacher. He was so he was just gave off this really gross vibe, and a lot of the situations he would talk about of what's appropriate, not appropriate, was number one, not appropriate for him to discuss with 16-year-old, let's see, economics was junior year, so 16, 17-year-old students. And then come to find out, a decade later, he was fired for trying to be inappropriate with one of his female students. And it's just like, dude, why now that I'm at a much adultier adult and just realizing the stuff he was discussing with us was very inappropriate for a teacher to discuss with mostly female or female presenting students. It's just, dude, you're a teacher. There's things that are appropriate and not appropriate. How did you become an educator?
Well, that was the same thing with that special needs teacher with her. Like, how did you, like, what? I'm like, and then I thought to myself, I wonder how many students actually said something about this one teacher. I mean, the teachers already knew about her and what she was like, but to have a student actually, or a former student, say something.
Chances are, like most, I don't want to say most educators, but most people in the higher ups, they probably just brushed it off, thinking, oh, it's just a student saying stuff, brush it off.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until like maybe adults complained that they actually did something. That's like, you need to believe the students when they're saying, hey, this Mr. So-and-so's a real bad person.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it's like for you. Like it's almost like teachers like kind of pick on the good kind of kids rather than like the bad ones. Like if you're doing really well in a class, they kind of tell you off if you're someone to say you're talking in class and the teacher will say you've got to be silent for half hour and no one talking. And in my mind, I'm thinking that's not possible. Like people can't not speak for half hour. Is kind of unless like everyone in that classroom has like a low kind of capacity to talk. Unless that, but it's kind of impossible.
It's like when they single out a student, like freshman year in my physical science class, we're all cutting up in class. We're all throwing paper, talking loud, everything like that. And I get singled out, even though everybody else is doing it too, and I get sent to detention. I'm like, what?
Well, that kind of reminds me, because I was thinking, what do I talk about? And in elementary, and there's primary grades. So primary grades would be 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then you got kindergarten before that. But in my primary grade, in grade 2, I got in trouble for what my friend was doing. I thought, no, no, it was my friend. And then I got in trouble for it. And you didn't call her out. She was just asking me a simple, quiet question. Just do you have like a pencil or something? And then I get in trouble. And I go, no, I'm the good girl. I'm the one who helps the people and be like, oh, okay, you got to do it. That's what I was like, especially in high school. I would always tell my friends to like, okay, you got to do at least 3 questions before you talk to me. I would be like the mom, basically, the maternal friend. But I now that I think about it, it's more like the friend-ternal instead of maternal, friend-ternal kind of thing, like looking after them. Yeah, friend-ternal. Oh, just looking after them.
Like also in that economics class, we had, I don't know if this is a thing everywhere or if it's not a thing anymore. We had this, what we call citizenship, how we were graded, how we acted in class. So went anywhere from E to excellent, S for satisfactory, N for needs improvement, and U for unsatisfactory. Well, I would get an N. I would get an N in citizenship, even though I got A's in I would get like C's in that class, and I would constantly get an N in citizenship. And like one of the popular kids noticed that. She's like, why is she getting an N? She never speaks in class. He's like, oh, it's about grade. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm thinking like, no, it's not. It's about how you act in class. I never say anything. I turn in my work. I do crappy work because you're a crap teacher, but you're going to give me a needs improvement? What?
Well, that's the other thing. When I was getting grades, the report cards as well, my friends would, oh, look what I got, look what I got. And no, I'm not going to show you because I know what you guys are like. My friends would be very comparing, very competitive. And I did not like that. And so whenever I got like a lower grade, they would basically try to take the thing away from me so they can compare. And I never liked that because I don't like to compare. Speaking of compare, when I found, or when you guys, the Who crew and anybody in general on TikTok, I found it really amazing that nobody compared themselves to other cosplayers, like to the point where, oh, you can't do that because I'm doing that. Oh, I'm so much better at this. You can't. I was, oh my God, they don't compare each other. They encourage each other. They encourage each other and be like, no, you can do this as well. What are you talking about? Of course you can.
Yeah.
And
like
but I had to deal with that with my friends in the high school a lot. And it's like comparing. But then here it was like, oh my gosh, where have you been?
Yeah. Like when I first joined TikTok and I was like, my oh my God, the word just got out of my brain.
It's okay.
My creative outlet was LARPing, and because of the pandemic, couldn't do that because we couldn't have any live games because you couldn't have more than 6 people within 6 feet from each other, so couldn't do live games anymore. And then my friend's like, hey, you should join TikTok. Well, I first joined it and then I didn't like pick any like little words or whatever to be shown cool videos. So for like the first time I joined, it showed all these dumb videos of like how do these people have this many followers? This video's dumb. I know, super critical, but everybody's got their own taste on what's entertainment and what's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And then I rejoined again, and I joined June, and then I went back to it in August, and then I chose my little words, and then I spent like 2 hours watching all these cosplayers. I'm like, oh yeah, this is something I want to do. And I'm like, ooh. And then I saw these Doctor Who characters. So I've been doing cons for doing conventions and cosplays for the last 2 years. But the only costumes from Doctor Who I ever saw was the Weeping Angels or the cats from New Earth, the nun cats, the nurse cats.
Yeah.
So when I saw people doing River Song or 10th Doctor or Donna or anything else, I'm like, ooh, that's what I do. But I felt so intimidated because there was always these established cosplayers on TikTok. And so I tried to do, other stuff and it didn't really fit. And then finally I just took, the big I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And I started out with Rose, and then I did River, and then I had all these other River and Rose and everybody cosplayers like clapping and encouraging me to do more. And then it's like all this support, and then I started doing other stuff, and then I started seeing other Donnas and Rivers and giving them support to do more, and they're like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm like, no, you're doing awesome. Keep up the good work. It's like, oh, but this is this. I'm like, it doesn't matter. All cosplay is you're dressing up as a character. Everything else is extra. If you want to go that extra mile, cool. If you want to use your own hair and be Donna, cool. It doesn't matter. You're having fun.
Yeah.
So when you get all these people that leave these nasty comments, and it's just like either they are intentionally being obtuse, or they actually don't know. I try to educate, and then they still continue the abuse, and it's just like, okay, you're just being a busybody troll that doesn't want to know that anything about it.
For me, my cousin, what happened was she kept sending me TikToks, and she was, you gotta just get kind of like just get TikTok and just get it. And I'm like, well, no, that would be another thing I'll get stuck on. And then eventually around 2021 in the summer, probably around this time or a little bit further back, I'm okay, fine, I'll get it. And then I get sort of addicted to it because I'm seeing cat videos. And then my cousin, she goes and says, you know, there's cosplayers that do Doctor Who. And I went, what? And then it wasn't until a little later, about maybe just slightly under a year, you guys press liked or whatever on my account, and that's how I found all of you. And so that whole time from 2014 to 2021, I had no one to talk about this program with. It was just me walking in the streets all the time, dressed as Donna, nobody knowing what I was dressed as, who I was dressed as. There's just this really good dressing girl, good dressing chick walking down the street.
Who's that redhead?
In the Donna outfit. Actually, there was a time there I did get that whole whistle thingy, and I just wanted to like basically smack them down. I'm like, don't you? I'm like, I'm not one of those people who like the whistle or anything like that. It's kind of like one of those, you better F off. Those people, but I stay really,
baby.
but I stay really quiet. I stay really quiet though. I really do think it. I don't like when I get honked because that sets off my epilepsy. Whatever. I get, because I have anything that startles me could set off my seizures, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it's good, you know, but like I started TikTok probably when 2020-ish, like when lockdowns were there and you couldn't do much, and I didn't have any costumes, so I was like you guys, like Chelsea is saying, they do Doctor Who cosplays. I was thinking, wait, what? All I keep seeing people like you got someone in Doctor Who clothes. And I was thinking, I've never been in Doctor Who clothes before, never tried doing that. And of course, cosplay's been longer than TikTok, so I thought I'll give it a go, and then it kind of it involves, I guess, and the more you do it, like the more kind of stuff you want to do, like if you want to do a different character and a different scene that no one else has done before, it's like I can't like when you do that, like you do someone that no one else has done, and then people use your kind of sound because they like it. So but on the other hand, I always say that TikTok has the most hate kind of social media, like out of the lot, I think, because especially at the start, I personally, in my kind of experience, like it was very hateful at the start. Sometimes you get the silly comment, but it's normally people that aren't cosplayers. It's normally people that are just
It's usually little kids that should not be on TikTok. who doesn't have parents that, you know,
Mhm.
monitor what they do, because I'll go and click on their thing, and if they've been not so smart enough and made videos and it shows these kids are clearly under 13 and they just don't understand, or they're being trolls, or they're using their keyboard confidence, because if you actually confronted them face to face, they would probably melt. But it's like I get nasty comments, but I don't call attention to it. I just delete, block people. Now, when I see nasty comments on someone else's, I will confront, not in a terrible, you know, hateful way, but I'm like, hey, you know, this is what cosplay is, or hey, maybe they just don't know. And if they continue to be nasty, I won't be nasty back. I'll just continue to try and educate, or, you know, pick on their grammar, whatever, you know, but just, you know, it's like these, we have, when they go, oh, look at all these adults doing these. I'm like, yeah, that's a great thing about being an adult. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
You have adult money. We can spend thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars on cosplay stuff, whether it be screen accurate, alts, or, you know, whatever your own interpretation is. I own so many leather jackets now because of Doctor Who. I have my shoes have doubled, my jackets have tripled. I have just a cosplay closet of clothes I never thought I'd own.
Makes me want to go over to your place and go, ooh, let's see if I can nick them over and try.
Yes. Come look at my Donna.
It's like, I'll take it.
I practically wear. It's like, and it's not just, you know, it's also stuff I also want to wear in real life too.
Yeah,
so
I know, that's what I do. It's like every day I wear it.
Now it's just, you know, everyday stuff. When it, you know, actually drops below 50 here, I can actually wear these coats.
Well, that's what all happened with my wigs. When I started cosplaying,
oh God,
I was like, wait a second, I look freaking good as a ginger. I'm gonna wear this from now on. So I've gone through so many different red wigs.
Oh,
and then finally I found
my
a really good one. And then, you know, it's starting to go on me again. And I thought, oh, I gotta get another one. I should have bought 2 of these. Oh God.
Before I started TikTok, I had maybe 10 wigs. I think I've got 70 now. Because it's also trying to find the perfect wig for Amy Pond or Donna or Martha or whatever. And I, you know, the picture of what they show on the website's not what you actually get, because they use different lighting. And then it's just like, really?
Yeah.
That's why I've got like 5 different wigs.
They trick you.
Yeah, it's happened to me before, and I'm like, this is the same wig I ordered before.
They do.
3 times. 3 times.
So,
or I get it and I cut the bangs or the fringe too short. I'm like, dang it, now I gotta get
yeah, I ordered, like, you know, like a handle's head, and I thought it was gonna be really big, and it weren't. It was a tiny little thing, and of course in the picture it looks it. So you have to kind of really look at something if you really want it, because it could be too small or really big.
Yeah, make sure you read the description of how big it is. Because I'll mostly see like comments like, "Oh, this is a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be." I'm like, "Did you read the description where it said it was 6 inches tall?" But I've done that too. Thinking I learned my lesson at that time when, you know, I get something thinking it was huge and it was actually tiny. I'm like, oh well, you know, had I actually read the description where it said it's this small, I wouldn't have been surprised. So no, I get that. Read the description.
Yeah, because most Doctor Who kind of like outfits are not even from the UK. Like most of it's kind of from China, so like it's not where we are. So it's very hard to get. But once you got them, you kind of want to keep it nice, not like stain it or anything, because you don't want to go in the wash. But I too have like a big box of Doctor Who props, and like in my wardrobe I have Doctor Who kind of clothes. So it's kind of stored there.
That's like
the thing.
That's what I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you, but that's like this with this jumper. I do not want to like stain it, so I'll like wear it and then I'll change out of it to have a tea, coffee, or food and put on something else and then put it back on.
Yeah.
What I found with finding screen accurate stuff, it's harder the longer the character hasn't been on the show. Like trying to find stuff for Rose Tyler. She
Mhm.
hasn't been on the show in 15 years. A lot of her labels, like Punky Fish,
Oh, I know
doesn't
that
exist
is that.
anymore. That label went out of business 10 years ago. So if you do manage to find any of her, like a lot of people do blogs and say, okay, this has been identified. This is what this is, whatever.
Mhm.
Trying to find her hoodies, especially the one from Doomsday,
Yeah.
the one that was found by cosplayers. She's like, it was so delicate that you had to be careful putting on. I'm like, I want to wear this stuff, out in the real world. I don't want to have to put in a plastic vacuum sealed bag to take out and hope it doesn't fall apart.
Mhm.
So you have to go with what we call alts, alternatives, like
Mhm.
it looks like the thing, but it's not the screen accurate label one.
Yeah.
Or in my case, I'm a pear shaped gal. So trying to find something that's the screen accurate pants, I'm not going to find in a size 16, 18 because Topshop only goes to like a certain size, or Diesel only goes up to a certain size. Or if I do find it on eBay, people want like $500 for it. I'm just like, I can't afford that.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
it's a struggle. So most of the Doctor Who cosplayers are all alts because it's either very rare to find, or if I do find it, it's not my size, or I do find it and it's way more than I want to pay for it.
Mhm.
Definitely, definitely. Like, I find it really not surprising that lots of people out there can get these kind of stuff. Like people get these. Some people pay like for a replica solid screwdriver, like a couple £100 or something to get it. I'm okay with just the normal one that only costs
Yeah.
a
I'm
few
fine with the
pounds.
ones that I found on Amazon or in a
Yeah.
flea market or, something that, yeah, I'm fine with paying like $20 for a Sonic because
Yeah.
it's a prop, or it's something I play with during a live, or I stick it up my nose and make it go
That's it.
off. Whatever I do with
That's it. That's it.
it.
Last few things before we finish. Chelsea, I remember last year. I think it was last year anyway. But I think you shared a video. The I think it was the After Turn Left trailer for all the people coming back. Um, and you said that you wanted to kind of get a load of people and do it. Did
I
that
would
ever?
love to do it.
Yeah.
I would love to get all the Donnas, all the Rose, all the Tens,
Yeah.
together, Jack, and like all the people who do that, and then kind of just, basically edit just the way the ending is for the next episode. So I would, if I could figure out how to do it, I would put all the Donnas together like side by side, and then as well as the Roses and all of that, just so they can see how many of us share the passion and all of it, with the whole, the timing of it correctly, and just, yeah, I would think that would be so epic. I thought about that for years, and there's no friends who had to do that. And I just thought it would be such a special thing, basically. The only thing is you don't want the copyright situation.
No, 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 we don't. But I think we could make that happen. Like if we arrange it, or put something out there where you can gather a lot, because I think that'd be really good. For like the 60th next year. Like I guess it will take a bit of time, depending how many people you want. If you want maybe a maximum amount of people, like but it's something that would be really cool because it's almost like it would be really nice to do.
And
Yeah, I mean,
do the magic.
it would be cool, like, to have all of us like say those parts, like just do obviously the voiceover, and then
Yeah.
every time it goes boom, there's the next part of us, and we all say the lines at the same time, basically.
Yeah.
That I would think
I
that
can
would be
I can
so.
whip out an accent. I can do a convincing one. I did my one of my friends does a radio show, and I did my version of the accent. And he had no idea that I was not from the UK until I said, "No, man, I'm from Texas." Well, no, I'm from Florida now, but he's just like, "I thought you were from the north like me." I'm like, "Is my accent that good? Cool."
Awesome.
Well, I get that all the time when I speak, and then people, I do, and then people go, "Are you English?" And I go, "No, I'm from Canada, but my soul
Right. No,
belongs over there."
I'm from Dunbar South, where we say weird words, and I keep I keep my real Southern accent under wraps so I don't sound, too Southern until I say a certain word, like I'm gonna get my oil changed.
Yeah.
It's not oil, it's oil.
Yeah. So that's a plan, Chelsea. Then to try and get that kind of
That would
thing.
take forever. So it's
Yeah,
kind of like
it's gonna
everybody,
take for
it's like
ages.
everybody
So we
start
need to get
doing
it
their
in
stuff now.
Yeah,
So I have
yeah,
this entire
yeah.
year to try and figure out how to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Do it.
yeah. It will be really interesting. Like, would you want it just like the trailer, or do you want people to use to speak, or like how would you kind of see that playing out?
Well, for me, it would be a little easier if they all use the audio, and then I can link it all up. I mean, if they want to say the parts, they can say the parts, and I can just, like, if they want to use their actual voice, they can.
I'd rather
I mean-
lip sync. I don't need my accent.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't need my terrible UK voice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't
mean,
think.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure if people do even speak in that trailer. Maybe you just have it a couple seconds. Record yourself for like maybe looking up or something like. But that's very exciting. That is.
Mhm.
Um.
Yeah, I would love to
yeah.
do that. It would
Yeah.
take time though.
Yeah.
Just as long as I have everybody, then I can slowly work on it.
Yeah. Maybe get kind of a team or something like that, and then you've got like you've got a person in control of the Donnas, a person in control of the Marthas, the captains, the doctor. So you got a little thing going on, but that's very exciting.
I'd have to pick and choose which character to be because I do them all.
Yeah,
And
like
you're fabulous. I love them all, especially obviously River and Donna. River
I haven't
and
brought jacket yet, but I do have a coat.
yeah. Well, that's something we got to do, I think. But last things, guys. It's the quotes. I'll quotes that relate to. Do you have any?
Okay.
Got the speech all pulled up.
What
Okay.
is what is
You
it?
want to go first? You go first.
I'll go first. So it's when 11 regenerates and his speech when he's doing his thing. So let me turn around and read it. It says, we all change when you think about it. We're all different all through our lives, and that's okay. That's good. You've got to keep moving. As long as you remember all the people that you used to be. I will not forget one line of this, not one day, I swear. I will always remember when the doctor was me. So that rang true for me, is like, I'm not the person that I was, 10 years ago, but I got to remember her so I don't repeat mistakes or repeat everything, that I'll always remember when I was that person.
Yeah.
As I'm trying not to cry over here because I'm like remembering where it is in that scene, and the music's in my head. I'm going, ah.
It's a great scene. It's a great scene. It's a great scene.
I mean, I got all these quotes in my head, but I don't know. This one just sounds really simple now, and it just seems more very childish like. But I don't know. It's there's so many different Donna quotes, and they're very simple, but I don't know. This is just really simple and more very childish, I guess, for me. It's from Partners in Crime, and it's just no, I mean it. If you ever see a little blue box flying up there in the sky, you shout for me, Gramps. Oh, you just shout. That's just like simple, really. It's really just a simple quote. Like, I mean, I got so many more. Like, there's Fires of Pompeii, but it's there. It's in my head, but it won't come out. And then it's the one where just save someone. basically. It's that one. I haven't looked it up. It's there in my head. I can say it. Just I can't right now. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah, just as someone, not everyone, just someone.
Yeah, just some.
mhm.
Yeah, so many good quotes like
Say
that.
Peter Capaldi, so you can be him 2 generations later. Wait.
Well, I love those quotes because they are very good, aren't they? Those quotes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was looking for quotes and they just I've gone blank because I just so nervous. I mean, I knew there would be quotes and I should have looked last night when I was
No,
so nervous.
they are great quotes. Like, there's so many to choose from anyway, isn't there? But well, thanks, Holly and Chelsea. You've been great fun. Like talking to you about Doctor Who, autism, like school as well, and sharing your stories because I think it's really important. So like people can hear and hopefully things change. Like people don't have to go through maybe like you guys went through, and yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yes, that was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of connecting, a lot of oh yes, and a lot of
Emotions.
we're pretty much a lot of emotions and a lot of we went through a lot of the same things, even though we're all different generations, all from different places,
Yeah. It's all
time zones.
very good. It's very good. It's very good. But I'm glad you've enjoyed it. But we'll have to sort something out about the let's call it the 60th anniversary kind of
Mish Mash.
Mish Mash. Yeah, Mish Mash. So let's call it that because it's kind of good. I think it might go towards that maybe for like even November time because I imagine it's going to take a long time to sort out or like put together even. But I've really enjoyed talking to you, Holly and Chelsea, and I hope you have a nice rest of your day because as we said at the beginning, it's all different time zones for us.
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, it's the afternoon for you now, Chelsea, isn't it?
Yes.
It's still the afternoon for me.
Yeah, in about 15 minutes or so, I think. I don't have my glasses on.
Sure, both in the afternoon.
Right. Well, thanks again, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.